Beside us we have some Merlot grapes, and as you can see, the canopy's been thinned in this area to expose the fruit to allow the maximum amount of sunlight penetration to help to ripen the fruit for the end of the season. They have about a month away now, it being September. We'll be picking them in mid-October, and by pulling off the leaves, we're maximizing sunlight exposure so that the sugars will ripen up the fruit and give us the flavors that we need. We have a reasonably close proximity to Lake Erie at this vineyard. We're less than a kilometer away from the lake itself, and that has an effect of allowing us to start a little bit later in the spring so that we don't have to worry about spring frosts. And it allows us to ripen the grapes a little bit longer into the fall because we don't have a fall frost. In our growing area, the Lake Erie North Shore, we are more south than 1/3 of the entire continental United States. The central coast and the northern areas of California are more north than we are sitting right now. We are the sun parlor of Canada. There are more greenhouses for growing vegetables and other fruits and more vineyards and orchards than other areas of Ontario. The main proportion of the Colio Estate Vineyard Farm is on the Fox Sand Loam, which is a sandy clay soil, about 80% beach sand and about 20% silt and clay. It's a very rich soil with a lot of nutrients available, and it's also a very light soil, which means that it drains well, and our vines can push their roots very deeply into the soil. Some of the oldest vines on our farm will push roots down to 6 to 8 meters into the ground, so they never become drought stressed as a result, and they always have the necessary water they need to grow and to grow well. Here on the Colio farm, we have more growing degree days in the Lake Erie North Shore than in any other area of Ontario, which allows us to ripen some of the big Bordeaux varieties like Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon. Often we won't harvest the last of the Cabernet Sauvignon until the beginning of November, which is much later than many other areas as they would receive a frost before then. The Colio Estate Vineyard is 200 acres in size with 172 acres planted under vine. There are 10 varieties on the farm, and our flagship varieties include Pinot Gris and Cabernet Franc. I've been with Colio since 2002. I've taken over stewardship of this vineyard. It is my life. I care for it very much, and our company makes great wine.
In addition to the grapes grown in our vineyards in Lake Erie North Shore, Colio purchases grapes from the Niagara region, from growers we have built long-term relationships with. Juan Newman has been growing grapes since 1970. His vineyard is located in Niagara-on-the-Lake and is approximately 200 acres and specializes in Chardonnay, Riesling, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Cabernet Franc. In fact, a lot of the Chardonnay grapes that we use in our Girls' Night Out Chardonnay comes from Juan's farm. Rob Enz's family farm is also located in Niagara-on-the-Lake. In 1976, they planted their first vinifera, and today the 360-acre vineyard specializes in Riesling, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet Franc, and Cabernet Sauvignon. Here at Colio Estate Wines, we make fantastic white wines. The process is very similar to our red wine making, in that perfectly ripe fruit is brought to us from the vineyards, run through the crusher destemmer, and straight into these stainless steel tanks for fermentation. Some of our white wines, like Chardonnay, a small portion of them will be aged in oak barrel to make a more complete blend. These stainless steel tanks are perfect for our white wine production, in that it helps us preserve the acidity that keeps the wine very fresh, and also helps us maintain the really fresh, fruit-forward nature of varieties such as Pinot Gris and Riesling. Sparkling wine here at Colio is made in the Charmat method. Both the primary and secondary fermentations are done in stainless steel, which once again helps us to maintain the refreshing acidity and fruit-forward nature of the wines. Our Lily brand is great for occasions big and small. I just drew from our oak barrels a sample of our 2015 Cabernet Franc from our vineyards here in Lake Erie North Shore. We feel that Cabernet Franc is a fantastic varietal for Colio Estate wines because of the really great growing season that we have here. We get a lot of sunshine, and so it ripens really well. Throughout the fall, once the grapes have come to the perfect level of maturity, we harvest them off of our vineyard here and bring them to the winery where we start processing them. Red grapes are crushed directly into the building and straight into a tank where we ferment them. Once they're finished fermenting, we press them off and run everything into our oak barrel system here. The oak barrels do a fantastic job of helping to age the wine perfectly. The wine draws out a bit of the oak flavor, but it also helps with the tannins as well, which really gives it a great mouthfeel and it gives it all that great structure that red wines are known for. After a period of 9 to 12 months, or up to 24 months for some of the other brands that we carry, the wines are taken out of barrel and put to bottle for you to enjoy. Not only do we make a great Cabernet Franc here at Colio, we also make a Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and a small lot Syrah. Enjoy the rewards of the hard work and craftsmanship that go into every bottle we make.